was 8 months pregnant when I flew to the States to wait for delivery. Who would have thought I'd spot my husband at my favorite singer's arena concert, his arm draped around another woman? He thought he could hide it forever. The moment I landed back home, the first thing I did was set out to leave him with nothing. Before we go on, hit subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. 8 months pregnant. I sat in the hospital room scrolling short clips the way I always did. Xander's national tour popped up, my absolute favorite artist. He loves crowd work. So, as usual, the jumbo cam started sweeping the audience. It finally froze on a small cluster of fans. The woman clapped a hand over her mouth in delight and tugged the elbow of the guy beside her. The man glanced at the screen, then angled backward like the spotlight burned. The camera guy took the cue and cut away. I rewound anyway. That 1/2 second of his face was all I needed. It was Jason, my husband. I scanned the live chat and tugged the corner of my mouth. OMG, the girl's adorable. She keeps pulling her boyfriend in, so sweet. First Xander show for boyfriend. Dude, looks tense. Tense. Try guilty. My pulse hammered faster with every comment. My belly tightened until the pain was impossible to ignore. No, this wasn't just rage. I was going into labor, thanks to months of mom and dad coddling me. The baby was perfect. A healthy little girl with rose-pink cheeks. I exhaled for the first time in hours. I named her Lila. Even if she never felt a father's love, she'd still grow up light and joyful. LALA, mom and dad flew back with me to the States. They couldn't stop beaming at their granddaughter. I begged them to keep Lila's birth a secret from everyone, including Jason. My solemn face told them I wasn't joking. They backed me without another word. While I'd been gone these past months, Jason's life had probably been one long after party. I screenshotted the fan cam and posted it on Snapred. Cutest couple alert. Anyone know them? I'd love to shoot them for free. I run a microblog as Photogirl with a few 10,000 followers. Jason knows I shoot portraits, but has no idea what my handle is. Morning sickness had been brutal, and Jason insisted I shelve my camera, so I'd been dark for months. Netizens are terrifyingly efficient. Soon my DMs pinged with tips. Several sent me links to the girl's own Snapred page. I scrolled through selfie after glossy selfie, zero trace of Jason. For a second, I wondered if they'd just been friends caught on a random frame. Hope is stupid. I messaged her anyway. Photo girl, hi. Are the two of you boyfriend, girlfriend in that clip? She'd already heard I was scouting free shoots, so she answered fast and giddy. Stella, yep. It was actually our 1-year anniversary at Xander's show. Blush emoji. I stared at the screen. 1 year. So Jason had been cheating even before I got pregnant. I smirked and kept digging. Photo girl, you two look amazing. Mind sharing how you met? I love crafting sessions around couples stories. Stella, we met 2 years ago. He was sitting in a bar, stupidly hot. Totally stood out. I made myself his friend first. And a year ago, he finally confessed. We've been together ever since. Nice. Jason, hide your marriage and reel in the innocent fangirl. I suddenly remembered how upbeat he'd been 1 year ago. I'd asked what had him glowing. He'd looked at me with those soft eyes and said, babe, Vance Corporation is about to go public. Let's make a baby. We were 30. Career solid, perfect timing. He'd said. I'd nodded like a fool. The second I saw the 2 pink lines, I called him. He'd hooped, then muttered something that sounded a lot like finally. I found her WhatsApp and sent a request. Her moments wall was basically a Jason collage. Careful Jason, only fragments of him showed in each shot. I remembered begging for couple selfies on every date. He'd frown and say, sorry, I hate photos, his hand awkwardly out of frame. I chalked it up to the scandal page incident in college and let it go. Girls love proof. And Stella had been posting plenty. In one mirror pic I spotted his unmistakable smirk. The one he saves for private jokes. A needle slid between my ribs. Jason and I had met in college, Ice Prince Campus King. I chased. He dodged it first, then thawed, but he never smiled. Not even on our wedding day. He stood at the altar like he was at a funeral. Relatives gossiped, but I didn't care. He loved me, quietly. That was enough. One kind glance from him and I'd hand over my whole heart. I bit my lip until it bled and screenshot every trace of him on her page. Then I found a post from a year ago. Stella, in love with someone I shouldn't. I was first. He loves me back. Why can't we be together? Jason's comment, baby, trust me, love me. I'll cut through every obstacle for you. Stella. Thanks hubby below. His buddy added, sis, true love conquers all. I laughed out loud. Call adultery a true love, label our marriage the obstacle. Fine. If I'm the villain, I'll play my part. For the next month I healed and stalked Stella's feed between Lila's feedings. With me out of the picture, Jason had even more time to cuddle up to Stella. Stella's Instagram was nothing but pink heart emojis every day. Classic honeymoon phase fever. I stared at the thread on my phone, Jason's and my messages could be counted on one hand. I itched to fly back right then and slap those adulterous lovebirds senseless. I drew a long breath and glanced at Lila, asleep beside me. Forget it. Just one more month. I can grit my teeth and survive. I told my parents everything. They'd always spoiled me. Once they learned I was pregnant, Dad resigned as CEO of Vance Corporation and handed the title to Jason so he and Mom could fly over to take care of me. And this is how Jason repays us. Dad's temples bulged. He wanted to hop the next flight home and strangle him. I stopped him. Dad, confronting him now won't help. I suspect that while we're away this month he'll try to move the assets. Dad hesitated. A deep frown carved into his face. I'll call Uncle Charles. Mom pulled me into her arms. Heartbreak all over her face. Our poor Serena, barely delivered Lila and already dealing with this. Don't worry, sweetheart. Mom and Dad are always behind you. My eyes stung. I couldn't hold back the tears soaking her shoulder. When Dad returned from his call, his face was grave. Just as we thought, Uncle Charles says Jason forced out more than a dozen shareholders this month, claiming it's corporate transformation. He even booted Uncle Charles and hired a bunch of college kids. Serena. Dad hesitated, searching my face. I read the rest in his eyes, like a brutal slap. He'd brought Stella on board too. Was he planning to swap owners right under our noses? I felt the ground collapse beneath me. I was the one who ushered this man into Vance Corporation. He might seize the company, let his darling mistress parade around, and make my parents' lives work the dowry for their happy ending. Fine, Jason, well played. I speed-dialed a private investigator I knew. Can't rush. Must stay cool. I remembered Stella's coy Instagram caption. They'd known each other long before. Money talks. The PI sprinted. The next morning the file landed on my desk. Jason and Stella had been neighbors. Jason grew up in a single-parent home. His mom worked out of town and left him alone. The Stellas next door pitied him and invited him for dinner so often he became part of their household. Over time, Jason looked after Stella, 8 years his junior. When Jason started college, his mom died and he left town. He met me, married me, and slid smoothly into Vance's top seat 2 years ago. Stella's parents died and she transferred, guess where, into Jason's old university. One night, while Jason was boozing clients at a bar, he ran into Stella working her part-time shift. Sparks flew, and they were tangled again. Oh, perfect, childhood sweethearts in a torrid second-chance melodrama. The day I finished my postpartum recovery, I flew home alone. The moment the plane touched down, I tapped Stella's latest Instagram story. For once she tagged a location. My blood froze. It was the Vance estate, our marital home. I smirked. Bringing your mistress to the marital bed. Classy, Jason. I let myself in and flipped on the lights. The living room carpet was a mosaic of shed clothing. The bedroom door stood ajar. From inside came a woman's breathy moans and a man's low chuckle. Big bro, am I better or is your wife? Baby, you. Of course. The moment you showed up you melted me. Serena can't compare. Her face. Her body. Nothing on you. The only thing she has is a fat wallet we can spend. Bro, you're so bad. Stella squealed. That's exactly why I adore you. I stood quietly in the doorway. Phone recording. A younger girl clearly does wonders for stamina. 30 minutes and Jason was still going. Only when Jason lifted Stella to carry her to the shower did he spot me. He yelped, his arms giving way. Stella crashed butt first to the floor. What's wrong? Bro, did I drain you dry? Stella, still facing away from me, rubbed her hip and wrapped herself around his leg. Cooing. Jason froze, then kicked free and rushed toward me. Serena, it's not what you think, let me explain. I pocketed the phone, expressionless. 10 minutes. Get dressed and meet me at the cafe for your explanation. I spun on my heel. Behind me Stella muttered. No wonder, she's getting crow's feet. Scary old hag. Half an hour later Jason finally showed. A respectable suit in place. He opened his mouth. I cut him off. Bottom line, how'd you meet? How long? Barely a month. She seduced me. You know men have needs. I was drunk. Thought she was you. And he recited the lie like it was flawless. I spotted Stella peeking from behind the door. I lifted my scalding coffee and poured it straight over Jason's head. Tell me, Jason, why should I believe a word? Stella gasped and sprinted over. Jason's eyes darted. He clutched my sleeve. Contrite. Serena. It was all her. I love only you. He started slapping himself. I deserve hell. I fell for temptation. And she's basically a pro. This was our first time. I swear, I love you. I watched Stella's face drain from concern to corpse white and curved my lips. Jason caught the tiny smile, mistook it for forgiveness, and grabbed my hand. hand. By the way, what are you doing back? Where's the baby? Oh, aborted, I said lightly. He stared, his whole body shaking. But she was 9 months. She had a heartbeat. Good thing. Growing up with a cheating dad would have been a lifelong humiliation. His smile cracked. He tried to soothe me. We'll have plenty more kids. Trust me, I love only you. I gave an absent nod. One last chance. Starting tomorrow, I'm watching your every move. He thumped his chest, grinning like old times. Deal. With you there I'll power through work. Gotta save for our babies. Stella bolted out, sobbing. Jason tagged along to my other apartment like a lost puppy. That night in bed he leaned in to kiss me. I turned away. He pretended not to notice, hugging me and whispering, I missed you. Only holding you calms me. I shoved him off and delivered my verdict. Guest room. Now. His smile collapsed. Serena. I lowered my head, shoulders shaking. Miscarriage took a toll, and I flew home before finishing postpartum care. The impatience drained from his face. He murmured, I'll let you rest then. Good night. Next morning, I put on a suit for the first time in ages and rode to Vance Corp. With Jason, looking at the mostly unfamiliar faces in the office. I unconsciously frowned. By coincidence, Stella barged out of the elevator right at punch-in time, frantic and breathless. When she saw me, she froze, lips pouting while her gaze swept the area around me. Unfortunately for her, Jason had already disappeared into his office, leaving me standing there to study the new hires. Once Stella realized Jason wasn't around, her chin shot up and her swagger returned. She marched straight up and demanded, What are you doing here? I arched a brow. You are. Her face flushed red. You're already 30, old and fading. I suggest you book yourself a spa day. Oh, now I remember. Jason mentioned you're in a special line of work. No wonder you're so experienced. I folded my arms, unmoved. I spoke loud enough for the entire floor to hear. Stella stamped her foot in fury, then plastered on a wronged expression and ran into Jason's office. Moments later, she emerged in tears, glaring at me as she slunk to her cubicle. Everyone else looked unsurprised, though their measuring glances lingered on me. I smiled back sweetly, then glided into Jason's office. Jason was hunched over paperwork. Without looking up, he muttered, All right, just bear with her a few more months. I'll make her kneel and apologize. Apologize to whom? I asked. His head snapped up, a grin blooming. Honey, I already fired her. I didn't realize how scheming she was. Don't worry. I won't let a conniving witch stay in Vance Corporation. Is that so? Then no need to wait. Call her in right now and have her kneel. His smile cracked. He forced a laugh. Let it go. Babe, have a heart. Rumor is she's an orphan. People with nothing to lose can get vindictive when cornered. So, Jason, will a man who's got nothing, like you, really steal everything, just as you warned? I studied him in silence, recalling the vow he'd whispered before proposing. Serena, even if I'm penniless, loving you will be the only thing I ever need to do. Listen to that. How hilarious a man's promises can be. After Stella was terminated, I didn't ask for a job. Instead, I camped in Jason's office, claiming that a man hard at work is the sexiest sight on earth, and I plan to enjoy the view all day. Jason shot me an embarrassed glance. I noticed his knuckles white around his pen. I opened Snapred and found Stella's DM waiting. Hey, photo girl, when can we shoot? I want the whole world to see the love between me and my man. Want everyone's blessings. The whole world. Huh, you got it. I checked Jason's calendar and picked the upcoming Friday, an overseas client meeting he couldn't miss. Let's see whether love or profit wins. Stella answered instantly, got it. We'll be there on time. Jason's bathroom break stretched forever. When he returned, his color was awful. I asked, worried, what's wrong? Feeling sick? He managed a weak smile. Probably the old stomach thing flaring up. Once this sprint ends, I'll check into the hospital. Jason claimed that to prove himself and spare me embarrassment. He'd skipped meals for months, sometimes eating only once a day. Back then my heart ached. I even secretly asked Dad to lighten his workload and woke at 5 to cook him gourmet breakfasts. Yet the investigators said Jason's ulcers started in high school when he passed out from hunger. I clenched my fists, my face full of concern. Stomach issues can't wait. Babe, go now. I'll cover tomorrow's meeting. Honey, that meeting is critical. Our whole quarterly revenue rides on it. Are you sure you can handle it? I'm basically a Vance Corporation veteran. Go. Okay, my wife loves me best. Off I go. He hugged me, planted a kiss on my hair, then hurried out. I settled into his chair and quietly powered up his computer. The desktop was pristine, nothing but work folders. Patiently, I opened each one until I hit an encrypted archive. I called my photographer bestie Lindsay, spilled everything about Jason. She ranted for half an hour straight, then swore she'd handle the rest. Next day I led the overseas negotiations, though I hadn't closed a deal in 2 years. I slipped back into the rhythm like silk. We nailed it. The client shook my hand with admiration and asked for a rematch soon. I smiled and locked the handshake. Only then did I check my phone. Lindsay had gone live on Snap. Read. Title, How to Shoot Killer Couple Portraits. On screen, Jason and Stella gazed like lovesick teenagers. Jason's hand rested naturally on Stella's waist. Stella pouted adoringly at him. Beside them Lindsay muttered, "Scumbag and side piece." Take two. Viewers poured in, hungry for tips. The moment they heard the aside, interest exploded. At streamer, spill. Something's fishy, followed. Lindsay only teased, stay tuned. Peeps. Big reveal coming. Don't forget to follow. I almost burst out laughing. Lindsay directed them into steamy poses. They dove into a passionate kiss without prompting. I stared at the screen, strangely calm. Finally, Lindsay dropped her Easter egg. Tell us your love story. You two are couple goals. Stella rattled off her usual love at first sight script. Jason tapped her nose. Doting. Silly. I fell for you first. Lindsay egged them on, then propose already. Jason stiffened. Stella's eyes watered. He hugged her tight. Baby, not yet. Wait for me. The feed cut to black. Lindsay's voice echoing, wait my ass. That night Jason came home late, humming a happy tune. I sat on the sofa, watching him swagger in. Feeling better? I asked softly. He startled, then wrapped his arms around me. Thanks to my caring wife, doctor says I'm fine. I gave a cold laugh. Nothing major, sure, except the little matter of adultery. His smile froze. His gaze darted away. I thought we were past this. Why drag it up again? Because you can't quit your mistress. Scumbag. I tossed the stack of photos I'd printed, every shot of him and Stella, straight at his head. Jason was hit with all that evidence, but any struggle he tried looked feeble. He slid straight into a who cares sneer. The same cold mask he used to wear. Look at you, postpartum and even fatter, he jeered. Zero body discipline. You were plain to begin with, so the only reason I settled for you was your family company. Did you ever love me at all? I asked in a whisper. Someone this average. Please. Back then my roommate said your family was loaded, so I thought I'd play along. Otherwise a face like yours wouldn't last a second on the sidewalk. Poor you, pretending so long. Tell me what you and Stella really are. She's the love of my life. You'll never pry us apart. He shielded her with his glare like a wolf over its cub. Then let's get divorced. I slid the prepared papers forward. My voice chilled to ice. You. He gaped at me as though I'd punched him. Go through it tonight. Give it back tomorrow. Even forewarned about the affair. His words felt like spikes in my chest. I'd been the chubby girl right through college. The house motto, eat, drink, be happy. Only after I fell for Jason did shame sink in. I wasn't good enough, so I starved and styled myself. All so he'd look my way. When I confessed, I wanted him to hear my heart clear and loud. After all, a girl chasing a boy only needs to lift a gauzy veil. Mom said, be brave. Take the step. Sure enough, after my fifth confession he finally said yes. That night I didn't sleep a wink. My grind had paid off. My persistence had won a prize. Turned out it was pure self-hypnosis. He would never change. I was forever the chubby, ordinary face he first saw. Ha! Thank you. The dream is over. While I waited for him to return the signed petition, Mom rang in a panic. Serena. Lila's gone. Someone took her. My heart lurched. Everything went white. I forced myself steady and asked for details. They'd been uneasy seeing Jason still running the company, so they'd grabbed Lila, boarded yesterday's flight, and flown straight back to Los Angeles. At Riverdale Mall, Dad went to the restroom while Mom, juggling Lila, scrolled a local app. A fresh-faced college girl chatted her up, cooing over the baby and asking for a cuddle. Mom, fooled by the girl's innocent look, passed Lila over. The girl sprinted away with my child. Serena. Mom let you down, she sobbed. College girl. I frowned. Stop crying. Mom, our only job is to get Lila back. If Jason has her, we're safer than if some trafficker does. I texted Mom Stella's mugshot. Yes, it was her. I exhaled. Lila was with Jason. That night Jason called. You lied. Serena, our daughter is alive and kicking. He hissed through clenched teeth. How is she? Jason. You're her father. Noise rattled behind him, and a female voice. Don't worry, sis. I'm the one who'll be Lila's mama soon. So of course I'll treat her like gold, Stella sang. Smug as sin. Beside her Lila wailed. So tiny she hiccuped between sobs. My chest split. Jason. What do you want? She's your blood. Touch her and you stop being a father. Cafe tomorrow. Amend the petition and sign. Relax. I love kids. Your Lila's in loving hands. Lila kept crying. I choked back tears. Fine. Draft whatever. I'll agree. Just dress her warm tomorrow. She catches cold easily. He cut me off before I could say more. I hurried to my parents' apartment to calm them. Worry had turned their hair gray overnight. Knowing Jason and Stella had her let them breathe. Dad's brows knit. Jason's using Lila as leverage. Tomorrow he'll make a play play for the company. What's your move, Serena? He can have the paperwork. Dad, I've finally got the smoking gun that will lock him up. Just watch. The next morning Jason swept in with Stella, all designer labels. Lila in her arms. My month-old angel, lashes still wet, slept against Stella's chest. I stretched my arms. Hand her to me. Stella stayed behind Jason, clutching Lila tighter. Jason flashed a salesman smile. Relax. She's mine too. I'll take perfect care of her. First, sign the papers. I skimmed. Property, mine. Equity shares, his. I run this company. I earned those shares. And Lila will inherit stock from me eventually, he lectured. Stella pouted but stayed silent. I nodded. Pass me Lila and I sign. She's my world. If I sign and you keep her, I'm alone and powerless against the two of you. Jason motioned. Stella surrendered Lila. At last I held my tiny miracle. She blinked awake. Knew me. Burbled. Her tiny fist waving. Good girl. Jason tapped the table. Signed now. I scrawled my name. Jason and Stella floated out, triumphant. I uploaded every receipt of his cheating on Snapred. Title, Aftermath. I caught my husband cheating at Xander's arena concert. I laid out the whole timeline, 8 months pregnant, flying to the States, returning, and finally, the blackmail for shares. I added, in the end he snatched our baby to force me, so I signed. Netizens roasted the cheaters and crowdsourced the scandal wider. Windfalls of new evidence landed in my inbox. Monday is the share transfer hearing. I'm gifting Jason my 10% equity. Jason, are you ready to shoulder the weight? I peeked at Stella's Instagram again. She and Jason had gotten their marriage license. Finally married to the boy I loved when I was 15. Perfect. The joint marital debt just picked up a new co-signer. On Monday, I walked into Vance Corporation with Dad on my arm. Stella was dolled up like a socialite, clutching Jason in the lobby as if she already owned the place. Jason had even invited reporters to immortalize the moment I signed away my equity shares. They'd seen the scorching comments online and didn't care. Black heat is still heat. So Stella fired up a live stream. Watch my hubby strip his ex-wife bare. Dad's face was thunder. I soothed him with a pat, then put my signature on every page. The second the pen left the paper, Jason swaggered over and signaled security to throw us out. I looked down and smiled. Actually, Jason, you're the one who should leave. 2 officers stepped through the glass doors. Jason, we need you for questioning on an economic fraud complaint. Come with us. Stella's live stream was still rolling, broadcasting Jason's perp walk in real time. Back in college, Jason had joined a pyramid scheme. I'd found the dirt on Snapred. He'd met some mentor on a dating app who promised to turn $500 into $5,000. He bit, only to discover a classic racket where every new recruit paid tuition to the last. Most kids cut their losses. Jason doubled down, convinced he'd cracked the wealth code, and scammed a string of freshmen. Eventually, the ring was raided. Jason caught wind early, and the amounts were petty, so the case fizzled. He legally changed his surname, one reason Stella hadn't recognized him at first. He posted bail after a few days and walked. Days later, the overseas project I'd been forced to front imploded. The overseas partner pulled out cold. Construction froze overnight, with cash flow dead. We finally noticed the wires Jason had siphoned to bankroll Stella's shopping trips. They'd flown overseas, maxing out boutiques in Paris and Milan. His salary couldn't cover one clutch, so he kept dipping into company accounts. Each withdrawal was logged in that secret file. Password, guess a couple of birthdays, and you're in. The cash artery snapped. The board unanimously voted Jason out and slapped him with a multi-million-dollar embezzlement bill. Now Stella, married all of 5 days, was on the hook for every cent cornered. Jason dumped his remaining equity at fire sale price. I bought every share. Suddenly, he had nothing. Within a week, he was slumped outside the Vance Corp gate, gaunt and begging, "Baby, I screwed up. I lost my head." He smacked himself between every word. "I'm not your baby. Go find your legal wife." I frowned and nudged him off. "Move, or I'm calling security." He wrapped both arms around my leg. "Serena, save me. You're the only wife I've got. Clear the debt and I'll be the husband you deserve." Lila's full-time dad. Afraid I'd doubt him, he whipped out a notebook. "Look, pages of parenting hacks. You bring home the deals. I'll raise Lila fat and happy. A girl needs her father," he pleaded, eyes shining. "You're right." His face lit up. "I should find Lila a real father." "You won't leave." "Fine, I will. You know I've got plenty of roofs." I shook him off and strode away. "You can stay in this house. It's the last dignity I'll give you." I took the CEO title. Days were spreadsheets. Nights were bottles and lullabies. Plus Dad's hourly lectures. After Jason's ouster, the overseas venture rebooted. I was too slammed to track their circus. Still, at lunch I'd scroll Stella's Insta for seasoning. Lately she'd quit posting photos, Now it was screenshots of her live stream, Tip Kings. The affair scandal gave her the blacklist fame she needed. She went full-time live streamer. The background looked familiar. My parting gift to Jason. She squeaked thank yous to gifters in a baby voice. Birds of a feather tip together. Then Jason crashed, hospitalized. A strange number lit my phone. Hello? Silence. Speak or I hang up. I frowned. Serena, did you ever love me? Jason's voice shook. Brittle. I did. I answered levelly. Then ended the call. Mom and Dad heard Stella's sugar daddy patron had Jason beaten, lifetime disability. Stella fled with the patron that night, with no cash for the ward. Jason was shipped home. Later, he simply starved. Beside his hand lay a letter. I'm sorry. My beloved wife Serena and my daughter Lila. I quietly arranged the funeral and kept the note. One day Lila will want stories about her dad. That letter can be the fairy tale. Later I spotted Stella at a karaoke club in Las Vegas. She wore almost nothing, makeup aging her a decade, giggling beside a client. Handsome. You like? When she saw me she stiffened, then melted against her patron. The client palmed her rear and grinned. President Vance. Most women come running. You're the exception. Respect. Stella's knuckles whitened while she cooed. Stop it. How could I compare to Big Sis? I pretended not to notice, letting the host's pretty boy feed me grapes while he dished Stella's updates. The patron's wife caught her. Not a gentle woman, she brought backup, stripped Stella on camera, and live streamed it. Her account was banned, and the clips went viral for weeks. Now she works the karaoke rooms. I sighed and pressed 2 fingers to the boy's lips. Enough about her. Tonight you've got other duties. Thanks for listening. If you liked the story, hit like and share with friends. Drop your thoughts below. And don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next episode.